Hello everyone, Larry Satchwell here. July 1st. Let's do a garden tour. Start here with my enormous sunflower. I thought this was going to be a little short sunflower, but this is a 10-foot pole, and you can see it's approaching 9 feet and 6 inches or so. It's got multiple heads on it. The bees are already working on it. I just bumped one off of this little flower down here. But the finches and the pollinators love this. It's probably very misplaced. So since we're here, let's start up at the top here. Here we are at the top of the, in my view, the left-hand corner of the garden. Mildred's joining us this morning. This is a hen that the other chickens were picking on, and one day when I was gathering eggs, she jumped out. She's been out for a couple of weeks now. I'm really glad that a predator hasn't gotten her. She's a real nice hen, but she doesn't lay eggs anymore. I've tried to catch her a couple times, but I'm just letting her roam around here. I want to start here with this snapdragon. Let me focus in on it. I thought snapdragons were for the fall and winter. They take a frost, but I've been very impressed with this. I'm going to plant some snapdragons next year. There's 3 spurges in here. 1 and 2 and 1 over here, 3. Those were free plants at the place I buy plants from, and they haven't bloomed yet, but they're doing really well. These are all dianthuses of different colors and sizes. I'm trying to keep them short up here. Got a butterfly drift through here. I'm not sure you can see it. I've got this on pretty wide magnification, but they come through all day. These last 2 dianthuses I have not gotten labeled yet. That's why those pots are laying there. They've been there for 2 weeks. This plant I had 3 of, and now I'm down to 1. The black-eyed Susans are starting to bloom. They'll be blooming here for the next 2 months or so. Speedweed, still doing well. I've cut some of the branches back, but not all. Here is some of that basil that Babs gave me, and 2 cardinal flowers. There's a dark one right down there that hasn't grown at all since I put it in there. And then the one I put in that pot without any holes in it is doing great. So no issues there. This basil, I've propagated several of them. It is really looking good. I've cut this back about every week. I take about a third of it off, and it just keeps blooming and blooming, and the pollinators can't get enough of it. So this is some more of it right out front here. I'm sure it will be overhanging my ledge here in no time at all. The hill now, what I think might be ragweed has not bloomed yet. If it is ragweed, that's going to be just a whole bunch of yellow brightness in this corner. These black-eyed Susans just pop up everywhere. I've cut back a lot of the yarrow. We had a tremendous thunderstorm last night, and in fact, we've had thunderstorms 4 out of the last 5 nights. That enabled me to clean up this section right here. Before, the ground is so dry, if you try to pull a weed, it just breaks off and doesn't do any good at all. But where here, I was able to dig up the ground a little bit, pull all of the crabgrass and the other weeds out of there, and isolate my echinacea here. I found 2 yellow echinacea, barely alive at Walmart, but they were $1 a piece. That's the price of a lottery ticket. I'd rather take my chances with those than a lottery ticket. So I planted those there. I need to get some mulch in this area. There's another pretty daylily. This one's blooming a lot. The Joe Pye weed is starting to bloom. That's a native here. This was red yarrow. I should have cut it back. I probably will cut it back, but I don't think we're going to get many more blooms this year. Moving right along here. This is the next spot I probably will clean up in the next week or so. It's really hard. It gets so hot. It's just at 76 here right now. It's 8:52 in the morning. It's going up to 95 or 6 today. but that's just typical of Georgia summer. So this area has all of those strawberries in it. And I wanted to make sure I had an area for the strawberries before I started digging on this. And I'll show you that in just a minute. And that area extends all the way down here. It's got a Nicotina plant in it, a couple of Nicotina plants in it that are going to seed. This Shasta daisy I've cut back, but man, it's tall. It's over 3 feet tall. It's close to 4 feet tall. And I'm not sure why it's so tall. There are some echinacea behind it that I want to transplant, but I'll wait till the fall to do that. I'll put those over the echinacea area. The balloon flower, I'm experimenting with this, and I'll put a video up if it works. Last year, when these were dry, I cut them off and hung them up in the barn. And this week, I tried to plant them. So if they come up, I'll be sure to show you that video. If they don't come up, they don't come up. I mean, it's no big deal. I wasted maybe 10 minutes of my life trying it. I want to turn to the vegetable garden, but this is that butterfly that drifted by a few minutes ago, enjoying that bee balm. So here we are at the end of the tomato bed. Let me show you what I've got going on here. I'm hoping that this isn't moldy. I've had this bag over here on my last garden update. There was a sunflower over here that the birds had been eating that I was wanting to save for my chickens. So I put the bag over this one. It's looking. Somebody was in here, but they didn't get all of them. I'll show you. So what I want to do with this is I'll cut the leaves off. It's not moldy, but something did get up in there and ate quite a few of them. But what I'll do is put this in the barn, hanging upside down, and I'll put a bag over it just to let me know if the mice or the rodents get in it. But I'll hang this upside down, and then come January, this will be a nice, entertaining treat for the chickens. And then I can go ahead and cut this one off and put that in the compost pile. I've got another one right over here. Let me see if anything has gotten into it. This is a little bit younger plant. I don't see any blooms that are going to come out, so I don't think I'm going to get any more blooms off of this. So again, let me cut some of these leaves off. I may leave this one here. It has a morning glory climbing up it. This might become a nice foundation for the morning glory. These bags got awfully wet last night. Now that's ready for the recycling bin. Let me get it turned around here and see what it looks like. Go ahead and cut it off. Nothing's been in here yet. That's a great seed head. This will keep the chickens entertained for at least 20-30 minutes. So I'll do the same with that, hang it up in the barn. All right, back to the tomatoes. What a poor year for tomatoes. I'm glad I don't need to make sauce this year. And I won't do this string method again. Maybe I'm just not doing it right, but I'm not getting very many tomatoes. I think we've had 3 or 4 maybe the whole summer, and the vines are dying. What I am going to do next year is with the indeterminate tomatoes, I'm going to put a panel stock up here and use it. Little cherry tomato. Oh, tangy. I'm going to let those suckers go. The suckers that, the ones that come up in between plants. I need to, this method was new to me, and I think I failed. But this is a great structure to hang a panel on. I'll probably get two. I'm not exactly sure how long it is, but I know it's over 16 feet. It'll probably hold 3, maybe 4 indeterminate tomatoes. Of those indeterminate tomatoes, I need to get 1 or 2 that are plum tomatoes because I need to make spaghetti sauce next year, or pizza sauce, whatever you want to call it. But I have failed miserably. And right now, I looked at tomato plants at big boxes. They are $10 a piece. They're a gallon tomato, but under the lights, I have some more lettuce going, some more sunflowers going, and a couple of tomato plants going. It's not too late. I'm blessed here in Georgia. We won't get our first frost until mid-October if we're unfortunate, November 1st if we're fortunate. Just never know. This is my setup with my Camo Jojo. The woodpeckers and the cardinals are loving this, and it's taken them several weeks to get it. The woodpeckers get these big seeds, and over here on this plant is where all the finches gather. It has those tiny seeds, and we've got lots of butterflies and bees working right here right now. So this is the bed I'm going to transfer those strawberries in, but I'm not quite ready yet. This was the onion crop. Wait till you see the onions. What a great crop we had. I'll put a link below. That's the Brown's Omaha onion plants. They're out of season right now, but I think it was 120 plants for $16. It's free shipping. Really pleased with it. They're up here drying out. They have, just compare, there's a baseball, and there are several in here that are at size. These are bulbs that I got at the big box store. I knew they wouldn't make big onions, but if they dry out, I can plant those and get some onion greens off of there. If we keep getting rain, I'll have to move these. But what I want is for this top right here to completely dry out. And when it does, I'll snip it off here and we'll put these in storage. We don't have a great place to store onions, but I'll probably give some of these to the kids. But these are very sweet. It's a hybrid called High Candy. It's a day neutral onion. You need to make sure you have an onion for your area if you want to get big bulbs like this. And this is one of the beds that gets more sunlight than any. That's why I'm going to put the strawberries from there to here next year. So I'll enrich this soil. I'll put some soil enhancement on it, and or compost. I'm not sure I've got any compost ready right now. Whenever you pull up those weeds, you're going to pull up the strawberries, and I want to start cultivating them down here. I also want to get a lot of pine straw on here to keep the weeds down, and I just haven't done that yet. So these are the squash. These are the squash plants. They've come and gone. No, here we've got a little squash coming on here and a couple of blooms, so I might let this one go. I didn't spray these things with anything, and right now I see a whole bunch of squash bugs on here. This one, however, I don't see any blooms, so I probably will pull that and replace it with some more squash. I might put that over there where the corn was. I've also got some more cucumbers in the basement. Cucumbers will just do really, really well, and then one day they're dead. In the south here anyway. But I've got some blooms coming on here. We let a lot of these go because it was just the wrong time of year for us to be working in the garden. We had a lot of things going on. So we've got a couple of small ones down here that we can use, but I love having cucumbers in my salad. I have cleaned out all of the raspberry vines that produced raspberries this year. Those will not be productive next year, but all of these will. So we get raspberries on second year's growth, and I'm trying to propagate that glingo that we like. To do that, I've simply bent the branch over and put a rock on it. More shoots, you can see them already, will come up from that glingo that's bent over. More shoots will come up, and we should have a lot more of those next year. But I want to stop here. That Popo soap pump stopped working and hadn't worked for a couple of weeks. And then when I was cleaning out the raspberries, I accidentally cut the wire. I tried to put it back together. I have it back together successfully, but the pump just doesn't work anymore. So just a little follow-up on that. Of course, I contacted support, and because it was a freebie promotional, they're not going to help me. My 4 or 5 okra plants here. I've been enjoying the okra. You got to cut that almost daily because it grows so quickly. This is Eli's corn. It is ready to eat, and we have eaten most of the other corn. If you're a longtime viewer, you'll know that these beds are new. I've been cutting the corn off, but I'm really anxious to see what's down there. There's a yard or more of the topsoil I bought in bulk, but under that was like 8 to 10 inches of fresh horse manure. And I'm not sure what that horse manure has done, but I'm anxious to see what's down there. Oh, can't believe how dry this is. We've had those 4 or 5 rains. This is like powder. I think there's an anthill right here I want to avoid. Yep. Unbelievably dry. In fact, it's so dry it's not going to go with my fork. Well, that manure has disappeared. Not a sign of it. Because there was only 4 to 6 inches of that topsoil on here. And I'm about a foot down there now. Interesting. Boy, it looks good though. Awfully dry. But I can put some squash in here. You can see it has gone down 2 brick heights because it was pretty much level here at the beginning. So that's interesting. And here is pine trees year-round lettuce. And something's been eating on it. I need to get some organic stuff on there. There's a couple of different things I can put on there, but I'd rather eat it than the bugs. But I want to make sure I don't use 7 or anything that drastic. I also have some Thai basil in here. Compare it to the basil that's up top, and a couple of Earthwalker sunflower seeds. I put this on here for a couple of reasons. It provides some nice shade, and it keeps the cats out. Down here, this is the backside of the tomato plants where the peppers are. They're doing really well. A large stand of sunflowers here. Peppers doing really well. I keep cutting back the marigolds. Some of those have died. Well, you might be able to see I've already sweated through my shirt today. Humidity is just staggering out here. I'm going to leave you here today at the Bee Balm Garden. Thanks to JM and Ethan for building the garden. What a nice place to sit and visit. Wherever you are, I hope your garden's doing well and you're being safe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the 15th.